MATCHDAY Live here at St James's Park. On the present day, it's Newcastle United 0, Barcelona. It's a really, really good game. High tempo, high quality, and very, very intense. And there's a lovely ball for Joel Linton, who's just overhit his ball for Elanga, but he's the player that Newcastle are looking for every time they have it now.
You can see this was the dream that he would have been sold when he left Nottingham Forest for Champions League football. Of course, they were very close themselves, the two-time former winners, to a seat back at Europe's top table, but he's enjoying himself out there. Did play for Manchester United a bit in this competition, but he is Newcastle's main danger, as a big yellow card is shown here. Yeah, there's
a shirt tool by Joel Linton on the halfway line. It was one of the more obvious ones. So Glenn Nieba has issued the yellow card for the pullback, as Pedri was just running away from him. And for a player who plays like Joel Linton, very combative, he will have to be very, very careful. He's got over an hour to play now on a yellow card, and yes, he's a battler. He's also a very, very great foil in this Newcastle side. Gerard Martin moves the ball to Frenkie de Jong and up towards Rashford. Back it goes towards Ronald Araujo, who's midway inside his own half, walking through with the ball, plays it on towards De Jong again. He's being challenged by Tonali, has nowhere to go and has to go back to his goalkeeper. Yeah, and it's great pressing and great hustling by Newcastle once again.
It's also very good from De Jong to keep the ball. You can see it by him being fit for today, and returning was a major boost for Hansi Flick.
There's the ball from left to right, looking for Rafinha. Dan Burn is there to win the header. Livramento's pass is a little short though, and Rafinha coming into the centre of the field. His pass for Rashford's a little short. Now Elanga, the ball breaks to him on the right hand side. He turns on the afterburners, looking for Barnes again, away by Jules Koundé. Comes to Elanga again, ball back to Bruno Guimaraes. Elanga again, right-footed cross just beyond Anthony Gordon. It's going to come out again towards Livramento. This is Barnes. His cross is too close to the goalkeeper. But every time Elanga gets it, the whole stadium gets to its feet.
And as you mentioned, every time Newcastle are winning it, heads up, right-hand side, where is he? Because he is causing such problems there. Has been really from minute one. It's a game of fine margins at the moment.
Well, at the other end, Rashford's on the counter-attack now, trying to cut inside Kieran Trippier, who summarily dismisses him and clears the ball away right-footed off his England teammate, although the ball stays in play and will ricochet very, very kindly. And Barcelona have it just shy of the edge of the Newcastle penalty. Rashford's cross, Rafinha's jump, and Livramento just eases him underneath it. For a moment, it was very concerning for Newcastle, but they dealt with it well.
They did, but again, there is still that constant threat, and you can sense the kind of intake of breath whenever Rafinha or Rashford get the ball in a dangerous position. And as yet, of course, we've not seen a chance for Robert Lewandowski, but we know what normally happens when he's presented with one. And everyone inside this stadium enjoying the occasion, loving the Newcastle performance to home support. Back of their minds, they will be well aware of the class that Barcelona have, and how in a second all the positivity of the opening 32 minutes could easily come to an end with an opening Barcelona goal, as much as Newcastle look like scoring themselves as well.
The way that Newcastle play, it's going to be tested on their legs, because they play such a high-octane, intense brand of football. To do it for 90 minutes.
Well, we saw that with Nick Voltemade on his debut, when he came off and afterwards he said, yeah, I had cramps. I didn't realise the pace, and he is primed to come on, but I think it's a good point. And if there is a slight drop-off, then Barcelona will punish them, as Robert Lewandowski is talking about the press, taken out by Fabian Schär, who was on him in a flash and gave away the free kick, but due to him trying to be aggressive and on the front foot as a centre-back.
He held 4 fingers up. He has got 4 in the Champions League matches.
He has.
There's the ball that's delivered. It's headed away by Joel Linton. A super take by Pedri. And now Koundé. He's all into the game, putting real pressure on Pedri. There's a Barcelona player down, and it's Ronald Araujo, which is going to pause the game temporarily.
I think what we've seen is, I think this Newcastle press tonight, in 90% of their games this season, would have led to a goal by now. But Barcelona, in a couple of moments when they've been really under it, have been technically good enough to get out of it. And I don't think many sides or players would have been able to, but they have. And they've been able to see off Newcastle just about, because it has been as good a start as Eddie Howe would have hoped for, I think, in terms of the performance.
Yeah, this is a sole one for Ronald Araujo. As the ball was delivered into the penalty area, he's jumped to head it. Kieran Trippier is jumping backwards, and he's jumped into his elbow, and it's just below his sort of belly button area, into that really firm bit. Just, well, from footballers it's a firm bit anyway, but it's one of those areas that really hurts, and he's slow to get up there. He's the Barcelona captain. He's back in position now, but still just carrying himself a little awkwardly. They have the ball anyway with Gerard Martin, who steps away from Elanga and plays the ball up towards Lewandowski, back towards Pedri inside the centre circle, now advancing to the right-hand side, and Jules Koundé. Now Rafinha, playing on the right-hand side tonight. Remember, we saw him so often on the left last year, with Yamal operating on the right, but there's no Yamal tonight. Here's De Jong, midway inside the Newcastle half. That bright Barcelona strip with the dark shoulders with their names on. Advancing left-hand side again. De Jong, composed possession, a little touch that's laid off by Ferman Lopez. It comes to Lewandowski, shot charged down on the edge of the penalty area. They have it back. De Jong out to the left-hand side to Rashford. He does have support, he's got a cross goal. Flicked on by Shaw. Lewandowski, acrobatic attempt at a shot at goal. It comes all the way across to Rashford again. De Jong, pressure from Barcelona. Can they make it tell? Little ball inside the penalty area, looking for Rafinha. Comes to the edge of the box. Little threaded ball for Lewandowski. Tries to shoot left-footed. Rafinha's shot, and Newcastle get a man there. It's Trippier, and they cover and do really well defensively. That's the first concerted bit of spell of pressure we've seen on the Newcastle goal from Barcelona.
And it was almost to Barcelona on a couple of occasions for Lewandowski, and then Rafinha at the end of it. It just stepped up the intensity of their attacks there, and you could sense the nervous energy coming off this support at that stage. And that's the class they have, even without Lamine Yamal, who would be a miss for any side in world football. 10 minutes to go until half-time, and you know, as this game goes on, there's going to be a few more of those moments for Newcastle at the back if they're to get anything from this game.
That's a ball that was given away. It will run out of play for Koundé. We will take a throw in. Barcelona had 64% of the ball. Newcastle just a third of the possession.
I think that's about what we expected. I think the game has gone broadly how.
I don't think I think it's changed in the last 10-15 minutes since Barcelona have really come into it, hasn't it?
I think De Jong and Pedri, after about 15 minutes, either the intensity for Newcastle slightly dropped, would have been impossible to carry on. I think they recognised as well that to put our foot on this, and Pedri's just won the ball, and this is a very dangerous counter-attack.
Well, they've got a 4 against 4 here. They're not moving with great pace as the ball comes to Ferman Lopez. They have the ball with Pedri, and now Frenkie de Jong. And again, they just slow the game down. They're not trying to cut through Newcastle, and Newcastle settle back into their defensive structure. Koundé's cross, away by Byrne. Taken down beautiful by Pedri to find Koundé, but then we'll go back towards Araujo.
Glorious touch from Pedri there. Just so effortless, but just killed any momentum from a Newcastle press there. Lovely ball after it, but what a pleasure to watch he is, Barcelona's number 8.
De Jong into the aforementioned Pedri. just walks forward out of the centre circle and finds Rafinha. He steps inside Livramento. Pedri takes over again. Koundé's outside and Pedri's going to go the other way. This is Pau Kubasi. Forward to Rashford. Little interchanges of passing from Barcelona. Newcastle just keeping them at arm's length in and around the final third. Barcelona just probing. Little ball in towards Ferman Lopez. Onto De Jong. Now Rashford trying to step inside. Twists outside away from Trippier. Shoots low, deflected. It's going to come away to Livramento, who has the chance to clear away as Koundé closes him down. And he comes away from the fullback but gives it away. Koundé driving back at Newcastle. Ferman Lopez, here's De Jong. Closed down by Bruno Guimaraes. This now is Rafinha. Super pressure from Barcelona, really trying to twist and turn the screw, and they've got themselves a free kick in a good area.
Playing really well. Barca playing like a team who reached the semi-finals last season now. The bossing possession and the pressure, too much there in the end for Newcastle. This is well within shooting range. Another goal, John Ritsu Doan has just equalised for Frankfurt at home to Galatasaray, so 1-1 there. But this here, you can understand why Nick Pope is being very careful about the angles and how many Newcastle players he wants in this war, because Rafinha, favourite you'd think with his left foot from this side. Marcus Rashford is interested as well. This is a serious chance of players of this pedigree.
39 minutes have elapsed at St James's Park. Rafinha, who won the free kick, hits it left-footed, but from about good 30 metres out, hits it with real pace, but can't get it to come down as it goes over the wall. Safely behind Nick Pope's goal.
I think he's got 16 goals in his last 16 Champions League appearances there, Rafinha. He has really the amount of goals and assists since Hansi Flick took charge in particular have been immense, for all of the talk of Lamine Yamal rightly. He's an absolutely vital, special cog in this Barca team, and you wouldn't have been surprised had he found the top corner there.
They have lost the last two visits to England, haven't they, Barcelona? Wanting to put an end to that little run this evening.
A team with a very special relationship with the home of English football at Wembley, though.
Put on one of the best displays that Wembley's ever seen in that final. Now, 13 years ago now. That's a nice ball that's played forward. And Livramento's very advanced here. And plays the ball forward where there was a firm challenge by Jules Koundé on Harvey Barnes, and the ball is behind. It's a corner inside the final 5 minutes of the first half that's absolutely flown by.
Has Barnes again causing some problems. It was a good challenge. Just wonder whether some Barcelona players thought that had come off Harvey Barnes and were hoping for a goal kick, and when they turned round and the referee pointed correctly to the corner, they were...
Well, Dan Burns the biggest person on the pitch, and he's standing right in front of Garcia. He's got Ronald Araujo as well, who is trying to prevent him, stopping the goalkeeper getting near the ball. Glenn Nebo is just trying to make sure that no one makes any illegal contact. Well, there's lots of jostling for position as Elanga swings the ball and the goalkeeper comes and he parries the ball to the edge of the penalty area, and it's away by Rashford up to halfway, delivered back by Trippier towards Byrne. Schwallinton inside the penalty area. It's going to break to Elanga on the left-hand side, back onto his right foot. Fabian Schär takes over. His cross headed away by Araujo, comes out to Livramento. He lifts the ball forward towards Schwallinton. Good flick by him, but the flag's up against Schwallinton for offside, and that will end that Newcastle attack prematurely.
Anyhow, well, no, they've had opportunities. He's softly spoken, Eddie Howe, always has been as a player. What a story for him, by the way. You think of his playing career and start of his coaching career at Bournemouth in the lower reaches of English football, worked his way superbly all through the footballing pyramid, and now very much Champions League coach. And
he had a big setback at Burnley as well, didn't he? And he came back so well for it. That's a lovely ball threaded by Rafinha on toward the ball that was played back towards him by Furman, didn't quite have the legs on it, and Newcastle can break again, and here they come at pace. Guess who? It's Elanga on the right-hand side, cutting inside the penalty area. Joelinton helps it across goal, but it's going to run away to the left-hand side where it's picked up by Gordon. Not seen much of Anthony Gordon so far, but here he goes exploding into the penalty area, and Jules Koundé gets the block. Another corner.
Yeah, Gordon, who used to in most of his career picking up the ball precisely there in a wide area, almost seemed to relish that because he's been playing as the centre forward again tonight. It's another set piece, and this would be a lovely time from a Newcastle perspective to score. There's Barcelona fans high up in this stand that Newcastle are attacking, hoping that won't be the case, of course, but now it all goes hush as Anthony Elanga gets ready to deliver.
Last couple of minutes of the first half, Anthony Elanga, a right-footed in-swinger towards the near post, met very, very well and headed away by Robert Lewandowski, who was right in there. Back in by Livramento. That's goalkeeper's ball catching practice, the sort of thing that the goalkeeping coaches do for 20 minutes before the game, just to warm the goalkeeper's hands up. And Joan Garcia with a huge throw from the left side of his penalty area over to the right-hand side to Koundé, who advances over halfway, and again in that I think we describe it is orange, isn't it, that third strip that Barcelona have this year with the dark shoulders. Just again enjoying possession, slowing the game down and playing it at their pace. Pedri dictating the pace of the game. Gerard Martin on the left-hand side, back to Kubasi. This De Jong, now Pedri, stepping away from Bruno Guimaraes, stepping away from Anthony Gordon, back to Frenkie de Jong. They're trying to just work some space and trying to find a way through a solid Newcastle line, but Joelinton's in the way. And there's Gordon, and there's Joelinton, and now perhaps the chance to break, and that's a thumping challenge by Gerard Martin on Bruno Guimaraes, and it may well be a yellow card as well for the Barcelona left back, and it is.
Yeah, and it may well partly be the yellow card, because had he managed to go beyond him, which he would have done had it not been for the challenge, he would have been able to play that ball down the right-hand side for Elanga, who would have been flying away. Not a bad yellow card to give away because of that. As we go into added on time, one thing we've seen for Barcelona in this first half, that Koundé and Martin are slightly holding back in terms of their position and making forward runs with Rashford and Rafinha ahead of them. We're so used to seeing attacking fullbacks, but they are pretty set.
We've played 45 minutes, there's a couple of minutes to add on.
And the score is...
It's going. I thought you
yes,
had I thought you were looking at me as though you had some information.
I do have some information. Sporting have scored a goal. They lead Kairat Almaty by 1-0. 1 minute to the break, and it's Francisco Trincao with the effort. Really nicely worked. Sporting left side of the field. They got it to the edge of the box, about 18 metres out. Trincao, left side of the D, wraps his boot around it and sends it high into the far top corner. So Sporting 1, Kairat Almaty 0. They've missed a penalty in that game as well. Sporting. Manchester City 0, Napoli 0. Napoli down to 10 men in that game after the early red card to Di Lorenzo. They're into 1 of 4 added minutes at the end of the half. And as Chris mentioned, Frankfurt 1, Galatasaray 1. It's actually gone down as a Davinson Sanchez own goal. The ball ricocheted back against the Colombian, the Frankfurt equaliser. So 1-1 in Germany.
Rob, that's brilliant timing, because you've talked all the way through Bruno Guimaraes getting treatment and the game restarting.
There you go.
And the long ball is played forward towards Byrne on the edge of the penalty area, and it's cleared away. That stoppage there was about a minute and a half, so even though we've played a minute and a half of stoppage time, we might still have a minute or so to go as Koundé plays the ball forward. He's been caught by Dan Byrne right on the touchline, and he's now down off the field, and we may have another stoppage here, although Koundé is a couple of metres off the side of the field, and Byrne gets himself a yellow card for a little bit of a lunge, and I'm afraid Dan Byrne will discover that at this level, once you dive in like that, it's a yellow card all day long.
Just totting up. Hope that Koundé's okay, because it was quite an impact on his right ankle.
There's another injury. Rob, you might as well.
Yeah, and there's been another goal, John, because Eintracht Frankfurt, from 1-0 down, now lead Galatasaray by 2-1 across on the right-hand side of the penalty area. It was slightly behind the forward, Can Uzun, but he brought it under control, swiveled, just smacked the ball past the goalkeeper. So a Turkish international against Turkish opposition. It's Frankfurt 2, Galatasaray 1.
Ugo who? They will be saying.
Yeah, they're doing all right without him, aren't they?
Ugo Ekitike, of course, will be returning to Frankfurt a little later in the UEFA Champions League. No doubt he'll get a brilliant reception, having started so well, of course, as a Liverpool player, and was part of their dramatic victory 24 hours ago against Atletico at Anfield, all part of what's been a fantastic match day one. And final night of 3. We're at St James's Park, where we're 3 minutes into the stoppage time. We've had a couple of injuries as well, which is why we are still playing. It's goalless between Newcastle and Barcelona, but there's been chances, there's been drama, there's been incident, there's been everything we expected from these two so far, and Glenn Nyberg has brought an end to the first half. Newcastle will look at a couple of the chances that they created. One for Harvey Barnes, one for Anthony Gordon as golden opportunities, but Joan Garcia in the Barcelona goal has made one truly outstanding save, one decent one as well. But Barcelona started to come back into it more as the half went on, and are a threat themselves. But at half-time at St James's Park, it's Newcastle United 0, Barcelona 0.
Listening to UEFA Champions League Matchday Live.
You're listening to UEFA Champions League Matchday Live with me, Rob Daly, at the break at St James's Park. It's goalless as it is, with the half-time whistle having just gone between Manchester City and Napoli. Half-time in Lisbon, as Sporting are one up on competition debutants Kairat Almaty, and Eintracht Frankfurt believe they've just scored a third, another one in quick succession. A free kick from the left-hand side whipped in, and the Germany international Jonathan Berkart, literally the replacement in essence for Hugo Ekitike, gets a flick on the header and guides it into the corner. I think they'll be checking for offside, but right now that stands. Will confirm either way. Frankfurt 3, Galatasaray 1 from 1-0 down. Chris, your thoughts on the first half of Newcastle-Barca?
As expected, I think the intensity of Newcastle has matched the atmosphere, which we knew was going to be brilliant from the moment that huge tifo was unveiled. They've had the better opportunities. Anthony Gordon and Harvey Barnes, both from electrifying wing play from Anthony Elanga, who I think has been the best, most dangerous forward on the pitch. I think the only thing that Eddie Howe will be frustrated with is they are not 1-0 up. And then I think we saw, certainly for the second half of the first half, the game we expected. Barcelona, through De Jong and Pedri, started to get their feet on the ball, started to play at the tempo that Barcelona wanted to. And although they've not forced Nick Pope into a good save, you can see the danger of Rafinha and Rashford and Lewandowski when a couple of crosses have gone in. So without Lamine Yamal, they are maybe not quite as brilliantly explosive, Barcelona, but both teams, I think, will be looking at that first half and thinking, yeah, there's 3 points here if we can execute our game plan to the max.
Chris, thank you very much. By the way, confirmation that Frankfurt goal has stood. There was a long VAR check to check the offside, but Berkart has his first Champions League goal for his new club. So Frankfurt 3, Galatasaray 1 into the 7th added minute there.
Great turnaround, that isn't it?
Very impressive indeed from Dino Tuchmuller's side. John, what are your thoughts on what we've seen so far? Chris has been keen to point out the threat of the respective attacks.
If you would have asked me how Newcastle would have started this game, I would have told you exactly what happened. I was here when they played Newcastle, they play here every week, when they played Liverpool the other week, and they got very much in Liverpool's faces early on, tried to knock Liverpool out of their rhythm, stop Liverpool playing, and to really physically impose themselves and their game plan on Liverpool. And it's exactly what they did to Barcelona, to use the pace and their intensity, the noise of the crowd, to get the crowd up for them. And you almost have to weather the storm and then earn the right to play yourself. And Barcelona did that really well, I thought. I think for 15-20 minutes, they were in the eye of the storm at St James's Park, and there was a chance for Gordon. We saw a chance for Barnes as well. Since then, not so much. And Barcelona controlling the game without hurting Newcastle. And Newcastle are a very well organised side. They put up a 4-5-1 when they're defending. They'll leave Gordon up. Gordon sometimes will drop in as well. But what they then say is when we win the ball back, when we get the ball, Elanga and Gordon are to go, and to Barnes as well. And that's when we will try and get Bruno, Tonali, people out forward in support. So it's exactly the way that I thought it would be played. I think Barcelona will have expected it as well, and I think they'll be quite happy with the way that they played the Wings game. I think what they'll expect is maybe similar at the start of the second half as well, and Barcelona will want to try and just slow the game down and play it there. But what they'll want to do as well is be a little more clinical and find. They found those little interchanges and passes in and around the Newcastle penalty area, but not found a way through to create what you call a great chance on the Nick Pope goal.
John, thank you. You take a quick break as well. Newcastle 0, Barcelona 0. As I mentioned, still goalless between Manchester City and Napoli, but the main talking point being the relatively early red card showed to Giovanni Di Lorenzo on 21 minutes. He brought down Erling Haaland through on goal. The red card wasn't given in real time by Felix Fire. It looked like there may have been contact on the ball. The replay showed to the contrary. Christian Dinger told him, and it was a straight red card for the Napoli right back. To mitigate that, they've taken off Kevin De Bruyne back at his former club and brought on Matias Oliveira to get the right balance in the team, and it's largely worked. Erling Haaland's had opportunities, but Vanja Milinkovic-Savic in the Napoli goal has been incredible and made a number of top saves to keep it Manchester City 0, Napoli 0. Sporting versus Kairat Almaty. Sporting have had a penalty saved by Kairat goalkeeper Sherhan Kalmirza on his Champions League debut. Morten Hjulman denied from the spot, but coming up to half-time, Francisco Trincao whipped in a wonderful shot with his left foot from the edge of the area, finding the top corner. It has largely been on Sporting at the Estadio José Alvalade. So Sporting 1, Kairat Almaty 0. And then, as we mentioned, it is half-time now in Germany after a prolonged added time at the end of the first half, where it is Eintracht Frankfurt 3, Galatasaray 1. Galatasaray took the lead through Yunus Akgün, a brilliant goal as he turned inside the area, twisted away from a defender and fired low into the net on 8 minutes. But the response from Frankfurt before half-time was stellar. An own goal from Davinson Sanchez after Ritsu Douan's effort ricocheted back off the goalkeeper and against the defender. Can Özcan then, 2 minutes into added time, ball whipped in, he turned and shot, and then Jonathan Burkhardt also in added time glanced a header home. So it's Frankfurt 3, Galatasaray 1. Next on Matchday Live, we'll reflect on the 2 matches which have already finished in the UEFA Champions League tonight.
Take UEFA Champions League Matchday Live with you wherever you go, with audio commentary, real-time stats and much, much more. Get the complete experience and download the official Champions League app today.
Yes, so as I mentioned, 2 games already done and dusted. Club Brugge hosted Monaco earlier on today, while Copenhagen welcomed Bayer Leverkusen to the park.
Vasquez, it's kicked in well, Larsen! Fine goal, lovely finish. Perfectly timed run from the Swede. Surely going to be Grimaldo to strike number 20. Oh, it's magnificent, right into the top corner. Huescas in support, this is good from FC Copenhagen. Free header, goal, brilliantly worked, it's Robert Silva. And they're in here, Echeverry, and it's deflected in. Wonderful response from Bayer Leverkusen, and it's 2-2 at the Park-In Stadium. Hughes bringing it to Balogun, Minamino, and Viret nearly onto this, and does go down. It's a penalty. It looks like Magnus Akliouche is going to take this. Can he give Monaco the lead here? No, he can't. It's saved and booted away by the veteran Mignolet. And Van Aken, I don't think he realised how much space he had. Tresoldi, this time finds a way through. Aken's corner, a flying header scooped away by Cohen. 4 Lofts across, and it's in, it's 2-0! Raphael Onyedika, Van Aken, oh that's glorious! Great vision from Van Aken, and Club Brugge are surely home and dry already. Diakon with a chance, and on his Champions League debut he gets in on the act. Club Brugge have 4. Minamino, another set, and this time they do have a goal. Ansu Fati with his first for the club on his debut for Les Monégasques.
You'll have more on Club Brugge's 4-1 win over Monaco, surely, but a precious point secured for Copenhagen at MATCHDAY tonight. Player of the match, Jordan Larsson's been speaking to UEFA's Sture Sando about scoring his first Champions League goal.
It's a dream come true. I had the chance of playing Champions League 2 seasons ago. I was unfortunate to miss a penalty at Old Trafford. So to be here 2 years later and score in the first game is a bit of revenge. And like I said, a dream come true. As a kid, I always dreamt of playing in the Champions League, and scoring here today was a big dream come true. And hopefully I can continue to score more goals and show myself in the coming games.
And how do you experience the atmosphere in here tonight on a European night in Copenhagen, and with your family as well here?
No, but it's electric. People here in Copenhagen know how special the nights here are, but maybe the people outside aren't really aware of it until they come here and experience it. It means everything to us. It gives us the extra motivation that we need to push through the whole game, and we are really thankful for our fans and the way they carry us through the game.
So the home supporters in Denmark driving Larsson and co onto victory. Copenhagen travel to Karabag on matchday 2, while tonight's opponents Leverkusen will face PSV Eindhoven. We heard the goals to the Jan Bredel Stadion as Brugge made an impressive start to their Champions League campaign by beating Monaco. At the stadium for UEFA this evening is Brecht Schellstrater. Brecht, great to speak to you.
Yeah, great to speak to you too. What a great night of Champions League football here in Belgium.
Well, it seems like Club Brugge are making a habit of these big Champions League wins.
Yeah, they do. It's not at all a surprise. I think if you see the results they had last year, the result in the playoffs, they beat Rangers 6-0 here. Yeah, they're just part of the Champions League. I won't say top teams, but yeah. The expectation for Club Brugge this season is really to continue growing in this Champions League and to just prove that they're just here because they deserve it. Last year they did so well. Before they did a marvelous Conference League campaign as well. Yeah, it's just the best Belgian team in Europe for the moment, and they prove it. And their ambition, just to play every game like they did tonight. Their style is defending by attacking, playing forwards and creating chances. And they could have scored 7-8 goals tonight. It's amazing.
Brecht, we saw you talking about in the UEFA Match Centre the fact that the youth pitch is next to the stadium and just how important it is to this team to have homegrown players in it.
It's the key to success for Club Brugge, for sure. If you see that the defense, the 4 defenders, they're homegrown players. Mechelen, Spileers, like Ordóñez, who arrived in Bruges when he was 17, so he did the academy, the end of the academy as well. Then the wingbacks, Cés, Sabbe, they already play for Bruges from the age of 6, 7, 8 years old. They were born here, let's say. So that gives an extra dimension to this team. You can feel it in the stadium that the crowd identifies itself with the team.
Brecht, great insight as always. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome. Enjoy. Bye.
Great stuff from our UEFA reporter Brecht Schellstrater on Club Brugge's win and the homegrown talent that's helped drive it. By the way, a reminder, matchday 2 of the Champions League is a fortnight away, and don't forget, it's not too late to form your fantasy team with prize up for grabs each match day this season. Download the UEFA Champions League app or visit the website to make your changes. Let's take a look at some of these standout fixtures from both nights on matchday 2. Starting with Tuesday, Chris Parrott, Kairat Almaty in action today, of course, take on Real Madrid. What a first home game in the competition.
Couldn't write it. The record 15-time winners heading to that part of Kazakhstan. that will be a night, whatever the scoreline, that club will talk about forevermore, and those who are lucky enough to get tickets will be the fans, maybe, and all the players won't, of course, because they will believe, as we've seen tonight, they're only a goal down against Sporting, but some occasion for them and for Kazakh football, full stop, to have a club game against the mighty, the biggest of them all in terms of this trophy and who's won it, Real Madrid.
Galatasaray Liverpool that night, as well as Chelsea versus Benfica. And how about this? The news today confirmed, Chris. Jose Mourinho is the new manager of Benfica.
And wouldn't you know it, the first Champions League game is back at Chelsea.
Perfect.
Special one returns. It's going to be great because that means we get to hear him talking in the next 2 weeks so much, I'm sure, including the day before. He'll get a wonderful reception. It's not his first return, of course, but what can he do with Benfica? Because, of course, they were beaten by Karabag, and as we saw, 16 points to finish in the top 8 last season, 11 to finish in the top 24. So if you don't get anything from your first 2 games, then all of a sudden that points total becomes that bit bigger. So it's a very big game for Benfica, and Jose Mourinho will be very, very interesting and entertaining, I am sure, in the build-up to it.
Note to the production team, completely fine if the build-up next week is just 15 minutes of Jose talking ahead of his much-awaited return Stamford Bridge. Barcelona, by the way, on Wednesday. How about this? They host Paris Saint-Germain, but they've got business to finish tonight because they're at Newcastle United. The players are out at St James's Park, and before action gets underway in England's northeast, a quick reminder of the scores elsewhere. Eintracht Frankfurt leading Galatasaray by 3-1, having trailed the game 1-0 inside 8 minutes. Sporting are currently beating Kairat Almaty after Francisco Trincao's goal, and 44 minutes they're just getting back underway at the Estadio Jose Alvalade, and it's still Manchester City 0, Napoli 0. They're about to kick off there. Napoli down to 10 men. Kevin De Bruyne taken off so they can bring on defensive reinforcement down to 10. But look, our main event, the full match commentary, waiting for the opening goal of it. It's Newcastle United against Barcelona. Chris Parrott is alongside match commentator John Bradley.
Yes, thank you very much. It's 9:05 local time on the banks of the River Tyne in the northeast of England. 10:10 across Central Europe, and we are set fair for what should be a really intriguing battle in this second half. Will Newcastle go at it hell for leather, just like they did in that first period from the first whistle, and try and impose themselves on the game? Or will it be that composed Barcelona finish to the half that we will see get on top? It's been a balance of styles, really, the way that the two sides have played, which has made for a really, really intriguing battle out there. Barcelona trying to impose a more patient, composed, considered pattern of play. Newcastle really trying to push the intensity and push the envelope, really, with the pace they've got, Chris.
Yeah, and they're attacking the Gallagher end in the second half, which is where the majority of the noise emanates from in this football stadium, high up in town. It's a great view from the city centre, where almost every street you look up and there is St James's Park, in an era where lots of football stadiums are out of town now. It's a very different feel in Newcastle, where if you're in the city centre you can't help but see where St James's Park is, and they flock here with their black and white jerseys every other week. And second half is going to be interesting, and at what stage are we going to see Nick Voltemade for Newcastle? At what stage might we see Danny Olmo and co for Hansi Flick?
Listen, surely the only football ground in world football that has a pub outside it named after a fruit. There's a pub outside the stadium called the Strawberry at Newcastle United's ground. Here's Tino Livramento on the charge down the left-hand side on towards Barnes, and his cross is charged down again. Really good challenge by Ronald Araujo, and Newcastle United have an early corner at the start of the second half, and here comes the pressure. Anthony Elanga goes across to take it, raising one arm to the crowd and gesture to say, come on, let's raise the noise level inside St James's Park. Well, if they score here, the roof will come off. Byrne makes his way forward. Fabian Schär makes his way forward. Also inside the box, Bruno Guimaraes, Joelinton, as well as the forward players. Right-footed in-swinger coming from the Swede, Anthony Elanga delivered towards the near post. It's met by Joelinton, who's only a few metres out, but the goalkeeper still on his line, and he couldn't get the ball on target. That's a chance.
It's a chance. Made first contact, and that flicked off his head, having got there ahead of Kubasi. You wonder whether it was going to nestle in the corner. A wry kind of grimace and a thumbs up for the quality of the ball in from Elanga.
Well, Newcastle have won the ball high again. Really good turn by Barnes. Left-footed shot inside the penalty area. Good block by Araujo again. It comes to Livramento. He goes back towards Joelinton. There's a Barcelona boot in the way. Newcastle has started fast at the start of the second half, just like they did in that first period. It's goalless at St James's Park, up in the northeast of England. A real hotbed of football. They're so passionate around here. And they've got a throw in here, just about level with the edge of the penalty area. Livramento has dried the ball with a towel. Now with a 4 or 5 paces, runs up, throws the ball long towards Byrne, gets the flick, breaks inside towards the goal, and again Garcia comes across and makes the gather. I think it was actually Marcus Rashford who was all the way back in there, helping out to get the ball back to his goalkeeper.
Yeah, that could have been very dangerous when it bounced. Anthony Gordon was sniffing around, one of those from a Newcastle perspective. A slice of luck and it might have fallen their way and someone might have hammered it home.
Here's Tonali striding over halfway. Elanga goes to break now. He just had to check his run. He had one of those awkward situations where he's moving at such pace, if he keeps going he's going to be offside, and then as soon as he checks the run the ball's played, he can't get there.
And actually Tonali did everything right. He had his head up and he had 2 or 3 in that exact same position where he wasn't sure if he was going to pass it, they'd be offside, and in the end it was Elanga that he chose, and there was no way through as Barcelona through Pedri begin to threaten and begin to show their teeth in the second period, John.
Pedri has the ball inside the centre circle and gives it to Frenkie de Jong. The ball into Rafinha was a little hot and it was brilliantly taken by the Brazilian on his left foot, killed it stone dead and gives it back to de Jong. Now Pedri, Fermin Lopez, Lewandowski. Fermin Lopez goes for the return. It's going to go to Rashford, deflected shot behind, and it's going to be a corner. There's a Newcastle player down inside the penalty area following that block, but my oh my, that was so close to a Barcelona goal.
Pedri, he's just exceptional. It was a very good challenge, I think, from Livramento on Fermin Lopez. And then some block from Rashford's effort, but it's all coming through Pedri.
Fabian Schär has worn one though, right on the side of the head, and he's
block, he's
in a bad way down here now, and straight away the Newcastle medical staff are on. Fabian Schär's had some awful injuries as a Newcastle player, and it hit him right on the side of the head. It knocked his head, sort of gave him whiplash, and there is a level of concern. So while that is going on, Rob can get us up to date with what's happening at the start of the second half elsewhere.
Yeah, no goals yet in the second half. It's still City 0, Napoli 0, Frankfurt 3, Galatasaray 1, and Sporting 1, Kairat Almaty 0. But what a chance for Kairat to get the equaliser. The ball cut back to Dastan Sapayev on the edge of the area. A low, crisp shot, well saved by Sporting goalkeeper João Virginia. So Sporting 0, Sporting 1, Kairat Almaty 0 as things stand. Francisco Trincao with the goal there. Earlier on today, a reminder, Copenhagen 2, Leverkusen 2. What a match that was with a flurry of late goals. And Club Brugge imposed themselves with a 4-1 win over French side Monaco.
Well, Fabian Schär is sat up. Paul Catterson is the Newcastle United club doctor who is on his knees talking to him at the moment, and that's one of the great stories of this club. Paul Catterson was the club doctor when they came up from the Championship 15 years ago, and has been there ever since. So he's ridden the Newcastle United wave. And it's amazing when you think, actually, they've only had 3 seasons out of the Premier League, Newcastle. In all the time of the Premier League in its existence, dating back to the start of the 1990s. They were seen as a bit of a yo-yo club for a time, but they've only had 3 seasons outside the top flight of English football. Fabian Schär's going to have to come off the field here following that head injury, and they're just going to make sure he is okay and fresh to continue. Another former Newcastle boss is in the crowd tonight in Rafael Benitez. Here comes the corner for Barcelona. which Rashford takes and finds Pedri. A little back heel that was lucky for Rashford, but it doesn't quite come off. But they have the ball back, and it is with Jules Koundé, who's the last man, who will go back and find his goalkeeper. The new goalkeeper at Barcelona this year, Joan Garcia, which was a big signing for them. Koundé forward, over halfway, little touch by Rafinha. Was stabbed forward looking for the charging run of Ronald Araujo, who just popped up in the inside right channel for a moment there. Had to double take just to make sure it was him. It's Rollinton midway inside his own half. Now Tino Livramento forward, right-footed, lovely running behind by Alanga again. Support is arriving. It's Rollinton on the corner of the box, helped across towards Bruno Guimaraes. Very nearly played back in towards where Livramento was. They come again with Alanga, right-footed cross, up they all go, headed away by Koundé. Comes back to Alanga. Again, the black and white shirts putting pressure on. Lovely piece of intelligent football by Bruno Guimaraes. Pulls the ball back, shot by Tonali, and it's straight at the goalkeeper.
It's all happening at both ends. Tonali, I wonder whether that was going to be further away from the goalkeeper when he lined up the shot. De Jong got out to him quickly, cut off that angle, so it was a relatively comfortable save, but both teams playing some very nice football.
That's a ball that's played in towards Gordon, won by Pau Kubasi, and brought away by Barcelona. And now they're on the counter-attack. The ball that's played forward is read well by Dan Burn, who will clear left-footed. Pedri's really annoyed with himself because there was a ball on there, wasn't there? Didn't quite get the right one.
There wasn't a ball for many players, there was for Pedri because he's so good, and those are the standards he sets.
A man with the throw out towards Gerard Martin, and now Frankie de Jong.
They haven't, Newcastle in the second half, had such intensity at the beginning as they did in the first period, where it took Barcelona about 15 minutes. It's taken about 5 minutes in the second half for them to settle.
There's a ball inside towards Rashford, who helps it across goal left-footed, but he's completely overhit that, and that's gone flying out of play. And they've got to the final third and just not found a way through. They are in double figures for attempts on goal, Barcelona, but they haven't had one on target as of yet, Chris.
As of yet. Thomas Tuchel, the England manager, is here. Is watching a number of players, including, of course, Marcus Rashford. We are in the World Cup, not quite year yet, until 2026, but the end of this season, and some football to look forward to over the next 12 months, not least in the Champions League, as we've seen this week, and all the way through to Budapest in the final at the end of May. And it's a really interesting game now.
There's plenty on show here, isn't there, in Gordon and Byrne and Trippier and Livramento. Harvey Barnes had a call-up as well, hasn't he, in the past? That's a ball that's bouncing around in midfield and won very well by Bruno Guimaraes, who plays an outstanding ball from right to left. Barnes backing up Jules Koundé, who blocks the cross really well. It'll come back to Livramento. Barnes again, now Livramento. They're on the corner of the penalty area on the left-hand side. Livramento's left-footed cross, Koundé blocks, Newcastle corner. 11 minutes into the second half. Newcastle again putting pressure on, again looking to use their set pieces, which they are so good at, to find a way through. Byrne is the obvious threat, Byrne is the obvious target. Trippier is going to come across and take this one, and it will be a right-footed in swinger. What they did earlier when Trippier was taking them was just change the angle, and he took them short. I wonder if they'll do that again or go short again. Anyway, it is Kieran Trippier from the left-hand side, right-footed in swinger, delivered towards Byrne. That's a really good header above him by Ronald Araujo, and Barcelona can see the ball out of play, and it goes out for a throw-in. Rob!
Manchester City have got the breakthrough against 10-man Napoli at last, and what a fun goal from City to take the lead. Phil Foden, edge of the box, picks up possession. There's a couple of defenders in front of him. He scoops it over their head. Haaland runs onto it and loops a header over the goalkeeper. A really different kind of goal Super smart from those two. It's Manchester City 1, Napoli 0. Erling Haaland's 50th Champions League goal in just 49 games.
Here's Koundé playing the ball forward. There's a counter-attack here for Barcelona. Rafinha carrying the ball up to the edge of the penalty area. Bernie's the defender, ends up on the floor. Rafinha's beaten him. Now he needs support. And Tino Livramento did really, really well just to hold him up. Ball back to De Jong, now Koundé. Barnes in his way, there's his cross. Free header goal! Out of nothing for Barcelona. And Marcus Rashford has returned to England and sealed it with a headed goal to silence St James's Park. Newcastle United 0, Barcelona 1. It just had to be their Englishman.
Brilliant header from Rashford. First Barcelona goal. Back in a stadium he knows so well. And again, they were patient. Rafinha did brilliantly initially against Dan Burn. They recycle it. There's no great hurry. And Koundé on his left foot kind of floats in. Not a hopeful ball, but he just shovels it into a dangerous position. And Rashford gets across his man and finishes that like a centre-forward. It's a brilliant header from Rashford. And it's the breakthrough, and it's Barcelona who have it.
There's been a goal from an Englishman at St James's Park. Well, Hansi Flick is the man who's celebrating, and Marcus Rashford is off and running in a Barcelona shirt. They have the lead, and now Newcastle United are up against it. They have to try and find a way back into the game, and Barcelona are coming again with Rafinha. Rashford on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Back in field it goes. Fermin Lopez with a shot, and headed up and over by Fabian Schär, and behind for a Barcelona corner. And is this where the whole shape of the game changes?
And Newcastle need to be careful now. Barcelona, you sense, no, this might be the moment to go for the jugular. There's going to be a triple change coming up. Voltemada is one of those coming on for Eddie Howe and Newcastle, as well as
well, it's a triple
couple
change.
Of forwards alongside him by the looks of things.
Triple change for Newcastle momentarily. Here's another corner though that's headed up and away by Livramento. It's going to come out towards Fermin Lopez now. Rashford, Fermin will cross again. That's a good header away. Strong one by Fabian Schär. Koundé, that's a little short. And now there's a break on Gordon. No, won't get there. It'll run away from him. Yeah, Jacob Murphy, who linked up with Voltemade to score for Newcastle the other day. Two of them coming on. Joe Willock's the other.
Murphy had such a brilliant season last night,
didn't he?
Been really one of Newcastle's best players as they ended the trophy wait, and of course qualified for this competition. And
man of the match in the final as well, wasn't he? Had a super season. Fabian Schär's race maybe run as well. He got that huge bang on the head a couple of minutes ago, and he's gone down again here, rocked, and he may well have to make way for Malik Thiaw, who will come on, the recent signing from Milan.
Yes, it's going to be a quadruple change now. It was Schär that Rashford just got ahead for the header and the opening goal, but this
will be, of course, a concussion sub, won't it?
Well, Eddie Howe was just in a long discussion with the fourth official, Adam Ladderback, there, I think, making that point. And Jason Tyndall, the assistant, has just gone over as well. We'll get confirmation of this, but yeah, it certainly looks like that may be the case. Now, of course, Eddie Howe would have loved to have brought on these three forwards to freshen up his attacking line at 0-0 to maybe go for the win, but I think that's going to re-energise this crowd, who maybe just needed that naturally after Barcelona's goal. But let's hope that Schär is okay, because he's had a very good night, and he is a huge part of this Newcastle puzzle. But Barcelona have found a way through, and this is the reaction, the response from Eddie Howe.
Yeah, Voltemade, Willock, Thiaw and Murphy, the four coming on here for Newcastle United to freshen things up and to try and add fresh impetus to them. It'll be interesting to see how they all set up here. They are taking off Anthony Elanga, which is interesting. It's Rollington, I think probably because he's on a yellow card, he's going to make way as well. And then, so you're going to have Murphy on the right, Willock in the middle of midfield, Voltemade through the middle up front. Gordon will now go to the left-hand side. And of course, Malik Diop, as a centre-back, will go straight in for Fabian Schär.
Yeah, and Anthony Gordon will, from a Newcastle perspective, they will hope to see more of the ball in that position with a real target man now of a centre forward, and he's hounding down Garcia here. And Barcelona, if they play with their poise, will back themselves to maybe grab a second, see this one through. It's a fascinating last 30 minutes.
Well, here's Gordon's first run, and he is going to win a free kick for a foul by Jules Koundé. Little shrug from Koundé, who's penalised, and it's a free kick to Newcastle. And imagine there's only one place this is going, and that's right in that mixer, because they've got Byrne and Voltemade on there at the moment.
Yeah, and Tiora's gone forward as well, having just come on. He's
not short.
No, Bruno Guimaraes isn't. I mean, compared to Dan Byrne, they all are, and Voltemade. But yeah, this is a real test. I think Araujo has had a very good game so far tonight, physically at the back, and his height's been important. And again, this won't be the last set piece, but Tonali will look to get this on the money.
64 minutes gone, Barcelona lead 1-0. The free kick is delivered, but it's straight at the goalkeeper. And Garcia grabs it above his head and sinks to the floor, and then rolls it to the edge of the penalty area. And Barcelona will settle into possession again as Koundé advances down the right-hand side. On it goes. Oh, what a touch by Rafinha to kill it stone dead on his left foot. Steps inside the fullback Livramento. Koundé tried to back heel to give it back, but he's not quite read it. Ball back towards Koundé. Now they come again. The cross was lucky for Lewandowski, away by Malik Diop. It's going to come for Koundé again. There's goals elsewhere, but Barcelona are looking for another goal themselves. Out on the left-hand side now with Rashford, who gave them the lead. Inside towards Pedri. Pedri held up by Bruno Guimaraes. They're going to go back towards halfway, and again build up patiently and try and work through the lines. Kubasi, Rashford, inside to Pedri again. Referee just gets in his way momentarily. Almost a 1-2 off the referee, who offers a hand of apology to the Barcelona man. Still kept possession, and still they keep moving it.
It was only the vision of Pedri that got himself into that position as well, but again, it's good from Barcelona. Just
nice touch by Rashford, but away by Malik Diop. And Guimaraes with nowhere to go. The throw-in will go Newcastle's way, and Rob has news.
John, in roughly 60 seconds to a minute, we've had 3 goals. 2 of them have gone in at Sporting. They're now 3 up. Francisco Trincao scored a second goal. It was cut back brilliantly to him by Ivan Fresneda after a rampaging run down the right. And again, he just finds the top corner effortlessly. And a low shot has just been driven in by substitute Alisson Santos to make it Sporting 3, Kara Almaty 0. Meanwhile, City are 2 up on Napoli now. Jeremy Doku drove into the box, left side, and just rolled the ball onto the goalkeeper Milinkovic-Savic. Really nice finish from the Belgian international from a tight angle left side of the box. So after Haaland's opener there, it was slipped in left side of the penalty area, and the American international just hung the ball up, and there was Jonathan Bergkamp, the new striker for Frankfurt. Another header went in via deflection. 2 goals for him tonight. Frankfurt 4, Galatasaray 1. And it's Sporting 4, Kaira Almaty. Some unbelievable goals tonight. I mean, Rashford's is probably the pick of the bunch, but Giovanni Quenda, the Sporting winger, has just dribbled past 3 or 4 players in a really tight area, got into the box and just rolled it past the keeper. A gorgeous goal. Sporting 4, Kaira Almaty 0.
Well, Ferran Torres has just come on. Now Robert Lewandowski is going to make way for Andreas Christensen. Get the feeling that Hansi Flick feels that Newcastle might be about to bombard them defensively, so bring on a man who knows a thing or two about English football, and defending like that only comes for the time that remains. Lewandowski quality of the players to make way of Ferran Torres and Christensen onto the field. He's had to come back from a serious injury, of course, is Andreas Christensen.
I think what Hansi Flick will be really pleased about with no Lamine Yamal is that goal-scoring prowess that Marcus Rashford has always had since he burst into the scene as a youngster for United in a European match, actually. Does slightly take the weight off Robert Lewandowski as a natural finisher, but we know there's another guy next to him like Rashford who can do the same with the deftness of movement for the header and then the sheer brilliance of the strike for the second.
That's a nice ball from Murphy. It's going to run out towards Gordon, who can't keep him. But one thing Hansi Flick talked a lot about last season was having this wonderfully explosive new team. But I think he talked about wanting more strength in depth and to be able to change games and have a little bit more experience and add more to his squad, and that's what they've done with Rashford and the player, with the quality that he brings and the experience that he brings both domestically and of course European-wise as well. So the hat-trick now, of course. The ball is back with Nick Pope, who could do nothing at all about either of Barcelona's 2 attempts on target in this game.
I mean, you mentioned that they had 10 attempts with none on target for Marcus Rashford in this second half.
Well, that's nice from Willock to step away from 1 and 2 challenges, but his pass from Murphy is a little too tight. And now the counter-attack will start again. And it starts over on that far side, where there's a lovely run by Rafinha, and he just drags across and can't quite put his foot around the ball enough. The shot is just wide.
Yeah, but the quality of the pass from Rashford, first time from inside his own half, facing almost his own goal, he's whipped one round the corner for Rafinha. That is a guy playing with a massive amount of confidence all of a sudden after his 2 goals, and I think people who have followed Marcus Rashford's career will know when he plays with confidence and with a smile on his face, many more dangerous than him. It's Barcelona who are seeing that firsthand, as well as Newcastle, of course, tonight.
Well, very, very dangerous tonight. 2 goals for him, no Lamine Yamal as well. And it would be trite of us to say they've not missed him, because you always miss a player, a generational talent like that. But they've managed it well without him, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah, I think since about minute 15, the young but in particular entry, just quietly have gone about their business. They've put Barcelona on the ball, and Newcastle will look back to those early chances for Gordon and for Barnes from those 2 bits of brilliant wing play from Elanga. And they might have been the moments in hindsight that they needed to take, and had they taken, it would be a very different picture. But Barcelona slowly but surely got on top, possession, and maybe territorial-wise, and then had the brilliance of the 2 finishes.
Well, here's Paul Tamada playing a ball which Tonali controls very well, but can't find the black and white shirt. Newcastle, since that second goal, you can see just trying to almost gather themselves and get back into the game. When they were 2-0 down to Liverpool, by the way, they brought it to 2-2 with 10 men, only to lose it in the 100th minute of the game to 16-year-old Rio Ingamo. So don't write them out of this one just yet. 1 goal changes everything for them. Porto Altamare, Gimenez, tipped away by Garcia. That was very nearly their moment to get back into it.
And there's still belief in the stand, you can hear it. And it is the one point for Barcelona, certainly last season, and Hansi Flick, you know, said that they conceded 13 times in the league phase, which was many more than most around them. They scored 28, they were the top scorers, but do they give you a chance defensively?
Well, here comes Rashford again, and Trippier manages to get a foot on the ball, and Tonali steps in and wins it. And he's then got a grip of, and it will be a yellow card for Fermin Lopez.
And of course, they're on the wrong end of that incredible 7-6 aggregate semi-final. And for Barcelona to come here tonight and keep a clean sheet would just answer anyone who questioned whether they were a team that you could get at, because they've had to soak up plenty of pressure tonight. Goalkeeper's been really good. Central defenders have come up with big blocks and super headers. It's been a very, very good away performance in Europe so far with 15 minutes left. The thing for us, John, is that Newcastle, this crowd will demand that they keep going. And of course that may leave some opportunities at the other end. So this isn't a game which is going to peter out by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, they've got another problem here of Newcastle. Kieran Trippier's gone down with cramp, which may be testament to just show how well Marcus Rashford's done in this game.
Yeah.
Trippier is one of the fittest players that you will come across, so he's going to have to be withdrawn, and he has made his way off the side of the field. And Newcastle are going to switch to what looks like a back three now, with Sven Botman coming on. That would mean that Murphy and Gordon, well, they're basically players as wingers anyway, but they're wing backs as well now. That's a nice ball to play through the centre circle, and here goes Murphy wide right. Good ball to him from Willett. Cross charge down very well by Gerard Martin. Newcastle have to make do with a throw, level with the edge of the penalty area. It's with Tonali. Now Byrne. That's a good ball. It's Gordon on the left-hand side, he's just overrunning. The challenges are a good one again. Really, really good one that was made by Araujo. Himself a little bit of cramp.
Yeah, both calves. Maybe a double change here coming up for Barcelona. Hansi Flick giving out some instruction. Again, just successfully taking the sting out of Newcastle, but do have this long throw. They have Byrne and Voltamara, two massive targets for Livramento. Newcastle get one back here, it'll be a very, very different feel. And of course Botman's now on the pitch as well in terms of height.
Thrown by Livramento. Header is by Byrne to block rather than a cross. It's going to come back to Livramento though. This cross is deep across the penalty area towards Sven Botman. That's Malik Shaw trying to make something happen. And he's persistent, and he's found the ball to Willett. His ball is too close to the goalkeeper, and he will smother that and lie on it.
Eintracht Frankfurt have scored a fifth against Galatasaray, and it's the winger Ansar Kanauf who managed to work his way around the goalkeeper and just knock it into an empty net. Very convincing night from Dino Tottenham's side. Back in the Champions League, and in the Europa League last season, of course, reaching the quarter-finals. And it's Frankfurt 5, Galatasaray 1. Elsewhere, Sporting 4, Karat Almaty 0. Manchester City 2, Napoli 0. Goals from Erling Haaland and Jeremy Doku.
The ball is back with Garcia. There's 12 minutes to go plus stoppage time here. Barcelona are in control. They lead by 2-0. When they have the ball as well, they are keeping it and moving it very, very nicely. They've just played through Newcastle's press with real class and composure and a certain level of panache. About to bring on Eric Garcia and Dani Olmo in a moment as well. But if anything doesn't go through Pedri, then you're surprised, because he's just basically the conductor of the orchestra. A little tap of his conductor's stick.
Rashford will get the headlines rightly so, but he's just been Pedri. He's a player that you pay to watch every week and enjoy to watch every week.
But when Newcastle have it, they look to break at pace and they look to make something happen. Livramento's lost it though. And here comes Rafinha. Koundé takes over. It's been a very measured performance by Barcelona.
Yes.
A performance of the highest quality by Barcelona, unfazed by what they've seen.
And after the semi-final loss to Inter last season, there were some, Hansi Flick had the questions anyway, like were you too attacking? Did you go for it at the end, and then it was into who scored that late goal to reach the final? Tonight at 2-0 up, they are measured.
Well, there's the ball forward towards Ferran Torres, who was challenged by MATCHDAY. He's appealing for a penalty. The referee was right on top of it and waved away the appeals and went into the final 10 minutes at St James's Park. And a long ball forward down the left-hand side is looking for Anthony Gordon, but was flowing locks in that headband, can't get away from Jules Koundé. He's had a brilliant game at right back, as have all the Barcelona defenders. Marcus Rashford's ended up on the floor now, having collided with MATCHDAY. He needs a little bit of treatment.
I think he was turning, looking to make that run in behind, and ran into Thiaw, who stood his ground. There was nothing untoward there.
The referee was looking straight at it, wasn't it?
So no hat-trick for Marcus Rashford, but
it's more than enough damage.
Oh, he's been immense, and it's been wonderful to see him in this second half. Huge smile on his face. Brilliant centre-forward header for the opening goal, and then the second. I mean, make sure you watch it. Champions League app and UEFA.com later. Lewandowski, one of the great strikers of his generation, had both hands up in the air, celebrating.
When the ball passed him,
Yes.
on his way to the goal, he just put his arms up and went, yeah, that's it.
He knew the quality of the strike.
We ain't saving that.
And that's a man who's struck plenty like that, but there'll be some stats about the pace of the ball there. There won't be many harder shots this season.
Well, that was a really good win by Tonali, who then draws the foul from De Jong and a yellow card for Frankie De Jong. 8 minutes to go. We'll keep telling you this all the way to the end till there's no more time, but if Newcastle get one, don't rule out them getting two.
Agreed.
And they have a free kick here in a good area. Dan Burn chatting with Gordon and Bruno Guimaraes.
Barcelona have defended these set pieces extremely well so far. Joe Linton with that one header, but they've won first contact a lot tonight.
Well, they've gone wide with the free kick to Gordon, who crosses right footed away by Pedri. It's going to go to Bruno Guimaraes, who can do no more than lift the ball forward. Away on as far as MATCHDAY. It's now is Murphy, who will get through Pedri's challenge. Now he needs support. Barcelona just closed that door so well. They've done it all day. Rafinha. Now the counter thrust comes through the middle. Real ball for Dani Olmo. He was looking for Ferran Torres and couldn't quite find him. And Murphy's turned into 4 Barcelona players there. Looks around and thought, where will you come from? Had nowhere to go. Pedri has it again. Barcelona have dictated the possession. They've dictated the game. Good header by Burn. On by Tonali. De Jong driving through the middle of midfield. Again, just slowing it down. Happy to win possession. Happy to move the ball. Left-hand side they go. This is Eric Garcia, who just seems to come on in every position for Barcelona. It doesn't matter whether he's in a holding midfield role, anywhere across the back, he just comes on and does a job.
And look, you don't have the ball, you can't score. And the way Barcelona are managing this game, highly impressive. Frustrating for the Newcastle fans, which you can hear, but they don't love that. You know, all of the hope, the expectation coming into the game, and Barcelona, through the goals, but now through their possession, have just offside. So, I mean, that is a very, very good sign of a top quality side.
The perfect away performance in Europe, as this has been from Barcelona. Weathered the pressure that they knew they would get. Fingers touch, just getting better and better like in this game. to him now. He's about 25 metres out to the left of centre. And again, they just slow the game down. And they're managing the clock, they're managing the game. De Jong onto Dani Olmo, now Koundé. He's the furthest right place, we'll check back inside. And again, they'll continue to just move the ball around and move the ball away from Newcastle. Firm challenge is a foul challenge that's made by Thiaw.
Worth noting that Kara Almaty have pulled one back against Sporting. Their first ever Champions League goal tonight at the Estadio José Alvalade. They're 4-1 down, but this was a brilliant goal in the end. Ricardinho, the substitute, right side of the area, clipped in a low cross to near the penalty spot. Ed Milson, fellow sub, just smashes it on the volley past João Virginia. Lovely goal. They've had chances, especially 1-0 down there, chances to level, but for some really good goalkeeping. So currently in Lisbon, Sporting 4, Kara Almaty 1, Frankfurt 5, Galatasaray 1, and Manchester City 2, Napoli.
And here it's Newcastle nor Barcelona 2. And Juan Garcia, who's come through this test tonight with flying colours. His first game in the Champions League for Barcelona. And Newcastle in desperate attempts to get back into the game, but struggling to get the ball. Bruno Guimaraes has it, but no sooner does he have it, then there's 2-3 Barcelona players coming to him. They've shown great reserves of energy tonight of this Barcelona side. They've really grown into a game. They had to weather early pressure in. Now with 3.5 minutes to go, that 2-0 lead is looking impregnable, really.
And Newcastle gave so much energy, so much quality as well. It's tough, even on a human level, to go again and to keep that belief, particularly when Barcelona are just knocking these short passes. Now they do have a bit of momentum in this attack, record.
It does come good on the left-hand side, midway inside the Barcelona half. Brings the ball back and across, where it's taken on by Willock. He's just running into traffic, and Barcelona just smother him again, and they now come away on the break, and all of a sudden it's 4 against 3. If they play this right, it's curtains for this game. It's the danger man, it's Rafinha. Byrne is the defender. There's still 5 players forward for Barcelona, and the final shot in the end is high and wide.
Super clever from Rafinha though, just nutmeg Byrne with the setback. And here goes the local boy. How much energy to Newcastle have left, as you mentioned. If they get one, the adrenaline will be pumping. You never know.
What Newcastle do like to do is they like to win a lot of free kicks, throw-ins, corners, set pieces to really put pressure on an opposition defence. It's how they came back into that game against Liverpool. Barcelona just haven't given them that chance, have they? They've not given them the field position. They've not let them into the danger zones as it would be to create chances. And when they have had them, they've dealt with them quite brilliantly.
Yeah, they've really stood up defensively against, you know, it has been a bit of a barrage at times, and put the ball in the line. We know their attacking quality. They will score in most games in this season to UEFA Champions League, like they did last campaign, where, you know, at one stage they were on for a treble, remember. But I think tonight shown a steeliness to them as well, and that will really please Hansi Flick when they analyse the game and look ahead to Matchday 2, which is in less than 2 weeks. 4 points, the perfect way to start as they look for top 8 finish to reach the round of 16 automatically.
2 goals in 9 minutes from Marcus Rashford, meaning that with 1 minute to go at St James's Park, Barcelona are sitting very, very comfortably right now.
And John, this start on paper for Barcelona was really tricky. Newcastle away, defending champions Paris Saint-Germain at home. They've not picked up anything from tonight. Which is on, big time for that second game. Now they go into it with 3 points, probably, unless something remarkable happens. A good performance both offensively and defensively.
Well, here come Newcastle, they're not giving up yet. Murphy's ball, Gordon! That's one back. It's come in the last minute of the game. It's come from Anthony Gordon. And Newcastle do find a way through. And maybe, just maybe, they're not done yet. That was a goal at the highest calibre.
a brilliant cross, and Gordon is comfortably onside. You wonder whether they might need to look at that. But such is the quality, firstly, from Voltemada and Guimaraes out to Murphy. It's a wonderful ball. And there is Gordon, who finishes it expertly. Started the game in the centre-forward position and finished like one there, off the posts. And now, all of a sudden, listen to the noise as we go into 7 additional minutes. Game on.
Strap yourselves in. We might be about to be in for quite the ride. There's a foul by Tonali. Well, we've heard in the stadium that there are 7 minutes, and there was a huge roar. Can Newcastle do something quite extraordinary late on in this game? The goal in the 90th minute. Can they produce late heroics? Voltemada trying to step away from Andreas Christensen.
Some late goals this week. Juventus got 2 in added on time to rescue a point in that 4-4 draw on Tuesday with Dortmund.
So Virgil van Dijk in the 92nd minute last night. Time for more drama on match day 1. Tonali. There's a foul and a free kick given against Jacob Murphy.
Very few left or 2-0 down, which means that there's 50-odd thousand desperately winning Newcastle here, and he was late. Murphy was looking to win the ball.
Yes, Rob.
Full-time whistle from Manchester. It's finished City 2, Napoli 0. Haaland and Jeremy Doku amongst the goals. Haaland, the fastest player to 50 Champions League goals. He's done it in 49 games. Full-time whistle in Germany as well. Frankfurt beating Galatasaray by 5 goals to 1. And in Lisbon, Sporting 4, Kara Almaty 1 is finished there.
But it's not full-time here. We've still got 5 minutes to go of stoppage time. And it could be fun. Newcastle have a goal kick. Now, would you throw Byrne up top as well? You might throw Chio, you might throw Botman up top as well, as Newcastle throw the proverbial kitchen sink.
At some stage, you might see Nick Pope go forward. Well, not yet.
You never know. They are going to bring on Marc Casado here for Ferman Lopez as they try to wrap this game up. Barcelona are going to be tested for the last few minutes. There surely will be an onslaught from Newcastle United. They have a goal kick. That change has now been made. And they have the ball. Well, Barcelona are pressing very, very high, and they've won it themselves. Well, the best place to win the game is by having it at the right end of the field, which you're attacking, and that's what Barcelona are doing here. They're inside the penalty area with Rafinha on the corner of the penalty area. The ball is onto Casado, who's just come on. Back across field they go. Frenkie de Jong, Casado, now Koundé, de Jong. Brilliant keep ball by Pedri. The passing is intricate, but now they've given it away. And that's Livramento. Forward for Gordon. A bouncing ball that will need controlling. Oh, and he can't find a black and white shirt. But in steps Livramento. And Gordon, who's so quick, turns on the afterburners. Good challenge by Koundé. Malik Chow has gone up on the right-hand side, and they've not got a throw out of it like they wanted there, Newcastle. They haven't sent Byrne forward yet, which is what they quite often do in the latter stages of games. They have to get the ball first from a very determined Barcelona side who, despite conceding that goal, haven't actually shown any sign of nerve.
They've done really well. They've drawn a couple of free kicks, taken the sting out of the Newcastle optimism very successfully. Gordon is almost out of energy on that left-hand side as well. Barcelona, particularly through Pedri, just as you mentioned, and they are perhaps the best at kick ball as a football club, as an institution, and we've shown those qualities.
Well, here come Barcelona on the break. Rafinha up to the corner of the penalty area. Has support arriving now. There's the little pullback. Danny Olmo with a shot. Really good save by Pope away to his left to palm the ball away. That would have been curtains for Newcastle. Goalkeeper called into action. Makes a good save.
Really good save, because Olmo, I'm not sure he would have seen that until very late. Nick Pope, Tior and Botman was sliding in. Olmo made good contact.
We've played 5 minutes of stoppage time, and Barcelona, you feel like we've had the ball for about 4.5 minutes of it.
Done extremely well.
Really intelligent from Hansi Flick's side, the way they have maturely managed the difficult times since that Newcastle goal that they pull back in the 90th minute of the game. Here's Koundé. Little ball forward, delivered for Ferran, whose shot is deflected up and over the top. They've got a corner.
Almost as good as a goal, because it just means they can look to eat away as much of the 60 seconds as possible now with the set piece. There might be a bit added on due to the sub in the 7 minutes. Rafinha and Olmo are strolling over to take the corner, and well, they might. Any team would do that in this moment.
Well, you might just keep the ball here for the time that remains. Rafinha and Danny Olmo are over there. Oh, that's a wonderful interchange of passing. Rafinha gets it back. It's a straightforward save for Pope. They have gone for goal, and Newcastle have one chance, perhaps, to get the ball forward, and that is as clear a shirt as can be from Marc Casado, and a yellow card.
This is the moment, now or never. Robert Lewandowski sitting on the edge of his seat. This will be boomed forward, presumably by Pope.
Byrne will go, Botman will go.
Probably the last phase of play.
Malik Thiaw has gone. Voltemada is there as well. Barcelona trying to keep their defensive line high to deal with a long ball by Nick Pope. They've delivered up towards Byrne. It will break to Jules Koundé. Won back by Livramento. Tries to run around the outside, but it's a really good challenge to win the ball.
It's going to be a throw, though. Pedri thought he might have kept that in, and this will be a chance to put this into the box.
Well, they're going to load up the penalty area here. It's now or never for Newcastle. Trailing by 2 goals to 1. 7.5 minutes of stoppage time have been played at St James's Park. Tino Livramento drives the ball, throws it long towards Byrne, gets the flick, half hooked away, comes out to Tonali! And his shot is hit firmly, but it's hit straight at Joan Garcia. And Barcelona surely now have a win on match day 1. It is Barcelona's win, it's Barcelona's night, and Marcus Rashford has returned to England and has been Barcelona's hero. It's 2 goals for him on the night, one of them an extraordinary explosive shot that earns Barcelona the 3 points. Anthony Gordon pulled one back late on, but it wasn't enough for Newcastle United. It's Barcelona's night, it's Newcastle United's 1, Barcelona 2.
UEFA Champions League Matchday live with you, wherever you go, with audio commentary, real-time stats and much, much more. Get the complete experience and download the official Champions League app today.
Marcus Rashford enjoyed his breakthrough night for Barcelona by stunning Newcastle at St James's Park. Erling Haaland makes competition history for Manchester City in a victory over Napoli, while Sporting Club Brugge and Frankfurt claimed huge wins. Join us to review the rarest of things, a Thursday night's worth of action in the UEFA Champions League. Welcome along, I'm Rob Daly, where Marcus Rashford right now is walking across the pitch at St James's Park, shaking the hands of Newcastle players with a beaming smile across his face, because European football expert Chris Parity scored the 2 goals that has secured a 2-1 win at Newcastle.
And his first 2 goals for the mighty Barcelona as well. Wonderful night for him under the lights back in England, of course. And really, he was the difference. It was a very even goal. First, as he's handed the official UEFA Player of the Match trophy as I speak, first instinctive header. The second, it will be, I'm sure, one of the strikes of this season in the UEFA Champions League. I know I'm saying that on match week 1, but it was that good. It kissed the crossbar. It was a thing of beauty, and he was the difference maker for Barcelona.
Lots to get our teeth into tonight. A reminder of the results from Thursday night. Club Brugge 4, Monaco 1, Copenhagen 2, Bayer Leverkusen 2, Eintracht Frankfurt 5, Galatasaray 1, Sporting 4, Kairat Almaty 1, and Manchester City 2, Napoli 0 upon Kevin De Bruyne's return to his former club. But we start our review at St James's Park. Newcastle returned to the Champions League after a season away. Barca, the aforementioned visitors. Chris was watching this for Matchday Live alongside commentator John Bradley.
Elanga on the right-hand side, driving for the byline, crossing, chance, Anthony Gordon misses his kick. Oh, he was only 6 metres out. What a chance for Newcastle, he just couldn't quite make contact. There's a ball for Elanga, he's electrifying with his pace, he's broken the offside trap, Barnes arriving, and Juan Garcia gets across his goal and makes an outstanding save. Big moment, big save by the Barcelona stopper. Ball back to De Jong, now Koundé, Barnes in his way, there's his cross, free header goal, out of nothing for Barcelona, and Marcus Rashford has returned to England and sealed it with a headed goal to silence St James's Park. Dunked on by Rashford, he's going to get the ball back, it's the Englishman, and up towards the edge of the penalty area, shoots right-footed, oh my goodness! That's as explosive a goal as you'll see. And Barcelona have 2, and Marcus Rashford has 2.
Well, it's the night that he has really come alive in a Barcelona shirt. That is as good a strike, as pure a strike as we might see all season in this grand old competition. It was fantastic.
Well, here come Newcastle, they're not giving up yet. Murphy's ball, Gordon! That's one back. It's come in the last minute of the game. It's come from Anthony Gordon. And Newcastle do find a way through. And maybe, just maybe, they're not done yet. That was a goal of the highest calibre.
But they were one short of the complete comeback in the end. Barcelona the victors by 2-1. But Newcastle were really threatening in that first half, John.
Yeah, I think the pattern of the game followed everything that Barcelona probably would have expected. When Hansi Flick had his team meeting probably a little earlier in the day, like they tend to, and then they go off to do their own thing and have a rest, and then the last thing he would have said to them in that dressing room before they came out at St James's Park is, be prepared, because they are going to come at you very quickly, very early in the game. Newcastle are very fast, they're very direct, and they really want to strike fear into you early with that passionate St James's Park crowd behind them. And they did just that, and they got off to a really good start. And I think the biggest piece of praise you can give Barcelona is that they were unfazed by it. They were very well led by Ronald Araujo at the heart of the defence. Pau Cubarsí, he plays like a veteran now, even at his tender age. But I think that Pedri and De Jong in front held them very well. And whilst there were a couple of chances for Newcastle, they did tend to keep them at arm's length. And after about 20-25 minutes, Barcelona then just sort of went, right, okay, we've got through this difficult period. We're going to get on the ball now, and we're going to start to dictate. And they started to control the game, control possession. And whilst they weren't actually creating that much, they were then dictating the pace and the pattern of the game, which Newcastle didn't want to happen. And I thought that the way they grew into the game was another example of how this Barcelona team is maturing. And we know they went so close last year going to the semi-final, and now they're a year older, and to come to Newcastle, a really tough place to come. Remember Paris Saint-Germain came here and ended up on the wrong side of a result a couple of seasons ago when Paris was so strong. This is a fantastic away result, and I think a perfect away performance from Barcelona.
Sets them up very nicely.